students, welcome to the online class. This time I have come up with a new lesson from the supplementary reader for class 10th. The name of the lesson is A Question of Trust and the writer is Victor Canning. Students, let me tell the main characters of this story. The main character is Horace Danby and he is a locksmith. Then the next important character is, the name is not given, she is a young lady, she is also a thief by profession. Apart from this, there are some supporting characters. One is a dog named Sherry and the last characters are the police people. Well, let me tell you the subject matter of this lesson in short so that you can understand, and later on you can also, when you will read the textbook, you will better understand the subject matter. Okay, now this lesson is about Horace Danby. He is a 50-year-old middle-aged man. He is a locksmith by profession. In fact, he is an expert locksmith. Therefore, he had reputation, fame among the people for his work. He is not only a skilled locksmith, but also he was an honest person. However, the story writer has something different to speak about him. The writer says he is an honest person, but not completely honest. Student, we have to think, why has the author said so about Horace Danby? Well, I will definitely help you to understand this. 15 years before, once this Horace Danby was arrested and sent to jail. Reason is not mentioned in the lesson. However, he spent his time in the prison library. Now, this Horace Danby had another interesting hobby. What was that? His hobby was to read the rare and expensive books. Students, you know what is rare? Rare means which are not found everywhere, and expensive, costly. This was his hobby. And equally interesting was his means of collecting such rare and expensive books. What was he doing to get these rare and expensive books? He used to steal once in a year. And whatever amount he gets from his theft, he buys the books of his choice, those rare, expensive books. So, it was the month of July. Horace Danby thought that now the time has come, he should plan his theft for the coming year. For this, he selected a large building. The name of the building was Shotover Grange. You know what is Shotover Grange? It's a farmhouse in a countryside. The owners of the house had gone to London. There were two housekeepers who used to look after the house. Horace Danby made a plan before robbing that Shotover Grange. He continuously, for weeks together, he visited that house and minutely observed the map of the place. He saw the path to that building. He also saw the rooms, the garden and the backside boundary wall. One afternoon, Horace Danby came to know that the housekeepers had a plan to watch movies. And for Horace Danby, it was the best time. So that afternoon, Horace Danby went to the Satover Grange, and he had known where the housekeepers used to keep the keys of the house. He directly went to the front door of the kitchen, where on the top the housekeepers had hanged the keys of the house. Horace Danby pulled out his gloves, because he did not want to leave any fingerprint during his robbery. He took out his gloves and collected the keys and then opened the building. A strange thing happened. There was a dog in the house. As the dog saw this strange person, the dog immediately woke up and barked at him. But Horace Danby is an expert thief. He knows how to manage this type of situation. He called the dog by its real name. He called Seri, and immediately the magic happened. The dog remained silent. Then, without wasting time, Horace Danby straightforward went and checked the rooms. Because in one magazine he had read detailed description of the house. In that magazine article, he had read where are the electrical fittings, where was the drawing room, and it was also mentioned in the article that in the drawing room there was a painting, and behind the painting there was the safe, his goal. So, without wasting time, Horace Danby went to the drawing room. He saw a large table, and there were many flower pots on the table. And students, I must tell you, usually Horace Danby keeps on good health, but he had an allergy. What we call that hay fever. You know, students, hay fever means some people have allergy towards dust and the pollens, the flowers. And when we have this allergy, we sneeze. What is sneeze? A sudden expulsion of air from the nose. So, as he was standing near the table, and he took out his bag to take out all his instruments to open the shelf, there was, he sneezed continuously. A strange thing happened. He heard somebody speaking from the main door. It was the voice of a lady. The lady said, "What is your problem? You have some problem, health problem? I hope if you have an allergy of hay fever, if you have an allergy for hay fever, you should meet a doctor, because in your profession you must not have this type of allergy." Students, do you understand why did the lady say so? Because for a thief, while stealing, if the thief sneezes continuously, then the house owners will come to know. Therefore, the lady, the voice said, if you have any allergy like hay fever, you must consult a doctor, because it is necessary in this profession. Thereafter, the lady came near the table and said, I hope I have come in the right time. The lady continued, I reached here in right time, but I had not expected that I will meet a thief. Horace Denby was a little frightened, scared. So he tried to make the lady understand that he was not a thief. Horace Denby tried his best to make the lady convinced that he was not a thief as she thinks. Therefore, he requested her again and again to allow him to go. But the lady seemed to be firm in her decision. The lady said, if I do not allow you to go, what would you do? Jokingly, Horace Denby said, I will run away. The lady said, well, if you run away, I have my own way. I will inform the police, and within minutes, your story will come to an end. You will be behind the bars. At this point, Horace Denby said, excuse me, ma'am. I have also thought about that. But before I run away, I have my own plan. You know, I have seen where are the electrical wirings. I will cut all the connections. Then I will run away. And hardly it will take them some 30 minutes. I will escape. Now, Horace Denby felt there is a change in the tone of that lady. However, the lady was also equally an expert thief. Therefore, she asked, if you now you want to run away, then why are you come inside the house? What was your intention? And here, students, Horace Denby speaks about his intentions. He explained the whole thing. He said, I am not a thief like others. And I do not steal in anybody's house. Just like Robin Hood, I select only rich people who have a lot of money. And you know, my intention of stealing is also noble. So, Horace Denby wanted to convince that lady that, ma'am, don't think that I am a regular thief whose profession is stealing. I am not that kind of person. So, please allow me to go. However, as the lady was a thief and her intention was also to steal, she didn't change her decision. The lady said, if I will allow you to go away, you know what you will do. I know that. You have promised me, the lady reminded Horace Denby, to escape from this house. You have promised that you will not steal once again in your life. But I know, I will tell you, if I allow you to leave this house now, then you will just go outside and you will select somebody else's house and you will steal there. This is how people like you are a threat for our society. Therefore, I am not going to allow you to leave this house. So now Horace Danby felt that the ball has gone out of his hand. He was very scared. What to do? So Horace Danby felt that the wisest thing is that he should make some type of agreement, some type of understanding with the lady. Then the lady said, "Well, Mr. Horace, if I will allow you to go, can you do one thing for me?" Horace Danby, who is desperate, who is already hopeless, and he wants to leave the house at any cost, he said, "I am ready to do anything for you." He said, "Yes, Mr. Horace, do you know why I came back unexpectedly? People believed that we have gone for months together. I came back unexpectedly because I had forgotten to carry my jewelries with me. Before we left for London, we had a plan that we will keep all our jewelries in the bank. As I had not carried all my jewelries, so I changed my plan. My husband is there in London. I came unexpectedly. So I have come here to Satover Grange to collect the jewelries from the safe. And secondly, there is another reason also. Tonight, there is a party. And I want to put on my lovely jewelries. Therefore, I want those jewelries. But the problem with me is that I have forgotten the number which is necessary to open the safe, the treasury. Here I need your help." Horace Danby felt delighted, said, "Ma'am, it's a very small job for me. You know, I am a master locksmith. I have been doing this type of work for the last 40 years. I can do it just in 1 hour. But I need one thing from you. I need minimum 1 hour for this work." Right? So, what you will do, the lady patiently listened to all the statements of Horace Danby. Inside she was feeling very happy because she became sure that her dream was going to be fulfilled. So, the lady allowed Mr. Horace Danby to start breaking the safe. At this point, Horace Danby made a small mistake for which he paid a heavy price later on. Students, he forgot and removed his hand gloves and used his tools, instruments, and set on work. As he had promised, within 1 hour, Horace Danby broke the safe and the lady collected the jewelries. Students, as I said, Horace Danby completed the work, but he made that mistake. You know why he removed his gloves? Because he was under the impression that the lady was the house owner. Therefore, without any threat, he removed his clothes and did the work. Then, this, the lady was definitely happy. So, she allowed Horace Danby. Now you can go. Thank you. Now you can go. Horace Danby also felt happy because he thought that he is safe. He left the house. Now students, the next day, for the next 2 days, Horace Danby seriously remembered the promise which he had made to that young lady. What was the promise? He had promised that he will no more steal. So for the next 2 days, he simply sat in his house and didn't do any work. However, on the morning of third day, a change came in his mind. What was that change? Horace Danby thought, for how long I will sit like this? What about my hobby? No, I will steal. So this change came in his mind in the morning of third day. But surprisingly, unexpectedly, at noon time, some policemen came to his house. The policeman came and said, Mr. Horace Danby, you are under arrest. Horace Danby was surprised. He requested, Sir, may I know what is my fault? The police people replied, 2 days before, in the afternoon, you had gone to Sutover Grange. You stole all the jewelries from the safe, isn't it? You stole all the jewelries. This is what the lady of the house has given in written complaint to our department. Horace Danby looked at the lady. He was surprised. This time, the lady he saw was a different woman. The lady was an old woman of 60 years old. He became sad. He became confused. The woman whom he thought to be the owner of the house, whom he had seen, was a young lady. But now the police people showed him another house owner. The policeman clarified, yes, she is the owner of the house. Secondly, on her complaint, when we went to the house, everywhere we saw your fingerprints. Hearing to this, Horace Danby put his hand on his forehead. He regretted. He pleaded, politely requested, again and again, Sir, listen to me. I have stolen, but I have not carried the jewelries. I did that stealing on the request of the lady of the house, who was a young lady. She had put on red colored dress. The police people said, Mr. Horace Danby, you are mistaken. You have been cheated. This lady is the real owner of the house. After that, there was no option left before Horace Danby. He was sent to prison, but this time he spent his time in the prison not as an ordinary thief but as an assistant librarian in the prison library. Students, you know why he was given this privilege not to stay in the prison as a thief? The answer is obvious. He had that hobby of reading books. So, while he was alone in the prison library, many times he regrets. He came to the conclusion that he was befooled by that young woman who pretended herself to be the owner of the house. And at the end of the lesson, Horace Danby learned this lesson, that he should not believe anybody without knowing in detail. Particularly, we must not trust anyone if the person belongs to our profession. So, the title, A Question of Trust. Here the word trust. Trust is not belief. Trust is to have blind faith on somebody. Students, you listened how blindly Horace Danby believed each and every word of that young lady, for which he paid a heavy price. Therefore, the title of the lesson, in our life, trust is very, very important. But just like Horace Danby, we should also be very careful in trusting people. Well, students, before I end this online class, I would like to sum up today's lesson. Here you can see a list of some words like hard work, honesty, punctuality, confidence. Students, these qualities bring respect for the people in the society, peace and prosperity too. Likewise, there are certain qualities like laziness, dishonesty, negligence, carelessness, overconfidence. You know, these qualities bring us shame in the society and our downfall, just like what happened to Horace Danby in this lesson. So, I think the moral of this lesson is, overconfidence makes us blind of our own mistakes, which in turn brings our own downfall. Thank you. Have a nice time.